if we come to you kind of like frustrated and flustered, we don't always want you to solve the problem. In that moment, ask, babe, do you want me to listen or do you want me to solve the problem?
Yeah.
All right, listen, if you are a coach consultant, I know something about you. The average is you make less than $5,000 a month, okay? And you never, ever get to $20,000 a month. I think the exact number is $4,524 a month. That's your average. But most coaches, consultants never get to the $20,000. But the number one reason is because you're having a hard time attracting clients. You need client attraction. Well, the good news is my friend, my coach, my mentor helped me make $35,000 in less than a week. And it was all the information from his paid ad playbook, Mr. McCoy Russell. He has the receipts to vouch, including myself, okay? Listen, he helps you attract clients. You need the paid ad playbook. If you want to get 50 to 100 new leads every single day, you're going to need the paid ad playbook. To this date, his clients have generated over $500 million in sales, $500 million. And he's giving you this paid ad playbook for free, absolutely free, 100% off, just for our social proof listeners. Listen, so if you are a coach, a consultant, a service provider, a course creator, and you want to get people to pay you $3,000 to $10,000 for your product or service, for your expertise, you need to go to socialproofgift.com. It's a gift for you. Socialproofgift.com or text proof to 904-447-5274. All right, let's get to the episode. Okay. Donnie, I'd love to hear about your business model.
Why do you have to look at me that way?
I'm just saying. Let's go.
So my business model is centered around the education.
I just gotta tell you, if y'all don't like, no, seriously,
David.
So it was funny. So this how like for years. This how. Oh, thank you so much. This is how me and Donnie interact. And she said that her other that's significant. You said it like that. A significant. What was it? Significant situation. So, yeah. She said they got in the car and they was like, "Yo, are y'all beefing?" I was like, "No, that's just how we talk." That's literally my sister. Okay, so I know some of y'all is offended. Like, why they talk to each other like that? It's how we communicate out of love. Okay, go ahead.
Are you finished?
Nope. So, also, Jen, let's find out what podcast they like to listen to. It's a part of our survey question. Y'all gonna fill out the survey? So I'm trying to do things like Chrysler.
And Jen, it would be even better if we could send those surveys to their cell phone.
Are you done? All right, cool. Go ahead. You got it.
So my business model is centered around the education of entrepreneurs. I understand that entrepreneurship fuels our economy, period. And no knock against 9 to 5s. I had one, never loved one, but I did have one. And I just feel like, we talked about this from very early on in life. We are trained to just be workers. We are trained to get what we can get, right? Or take what we can get. And from the school system on up, my goal is really to encourage people and to empower them and educate them that you at least have options. It's very important, number one, to start in believing in yourself. But if I can get a group of women who are in their 30s and 40s and even 20s, and I can empower you to want more and to see more opportunity for yourself when you become moms, you're going to transfer that energy into your young kids, because the school system has it so that we are trained to work. The information that we learn inside those school systems doesn't really benefit us. More than 50% of that information. Like, how many of you guys apply the Pythagorean theorem every day in your life? No, I mean, we don't need to know what A squared plus B squared equals. It just doesn't matter.
In my business, I do.
Yeah, in your business. In your business, you do, right? So, no, it's not necessarily a knock to education, but I think especially like speaking in the Black communities, we are taught that the more educated we become through a formal school system, the more successful we become in life. And I think what this generation of entrepreneurs has done single-handedly is dispelled that myth, right? Yep. There are so many of us that have not graduated college or did not even finish, some of them, like high school. And we are making more money than people who have all of these accolades and degrees. And I think they're wonderful. I think there's a place for that because we still need doctors and lawyers and, all that good stuff. But my mission is really to inspire and empower people to take actionable steps to go out there and pursue a dream and see it into fruition and make that happen. And so we work with people right now who are personal brands, who are offering like coaching. I think a big value add is people who go back and teach other people how to have a transformation. So teaching women to tap into their feminine energy that can multiply in their lives and produce a result, not just selling just a tangible thing. But I love that space. And so we have all kinds of programs from courses to coaching, memberships that are centered fully around that.
As a coach, and plus you coach a lot of people, what do you think the number one thing that holds people back from their own success, especially becoming a personal brand? Like, I want people to know who I am, or respect me as a coach, or respect me in this particular field. What do you think the biggest issue or challenges that they face when they come into the program?
I think the biggest problem that people face, or aspiring entrepreneurs, even some, is belief. Like, we're just not believing big enough. And that's because for so many of us, we're first-time CEOs, we're first-time six-figure income earners, and certainly first-time seven-figure income earners, right? And we're not believing big enough. We're still having to disconnect from this mindset of a little and having to adopt the mindset of abundance. Like, we just went through a major holiday sale, and every single last one of my clients said, should I keep posting because I think I'm doing too much? And I said, well, don't we have the personal injury attorney's phone numbers memorized, because they play that commercial over and over and over and over again. And it's a fear associated, and it all goes back to belief. What you believe your audience is going to feel because you market your business. What you believe your support is going to look like because you left your job. What you believe people are going to think about you and how they're going to judge you. Like, belief halts and kills so many dreams, even when you think you believe. Like, personal development is something that we should all be heavily invested in, because even I there was nobody that I thought at a time could outbelieve me until I started to actually be intentional about studying belief and what that actually means, and just believing bigger instead of saying, I want $500 a month, which is a good first goal. But instead of staying there and saying, I'm satisfied here, why aren't we going for $5,000 a month? And usually the answer is that we don't believe enough because we hadn't had enough examples. But today, because of the circles that we're in, and because of the internet, and because of this wave of entrepreneurs who are setting the example, like, the belief theory and the lack of belief has to be dispelled, like, immediately, because we've got enough examples now. And my job is to introduce you to all of those examples of people who believe at a bigger level, and hopefully it encourages most people to believe a little bit bigger too.
I love that. We got
Yes.
So, Angela, I like to kind of understand your business model as well, and I am one of your clients, right? And would it be PR that you do?
Say that again.
Well, you do PR. Is that
Public relations,
right?
Artist management, digital marketing.
Got you. Okay, so walk us through your business model.
Whew, which hat are we talking? Artist management. Yeah, I think that's a big part of really understanding who you are, because really artist management is babysitting. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. You are babysitting your clients. You are making sure that they are getting to and from where they need to be on time. You are making sure that they show up for appearances, concerts, whatever talent that they have. You are technically a babysitter. Funnel within the babysitting is the contracts and making sure that the deal memos and all of those are in place and you're reading those. So I had to understand the business side before I can manage an artist. So I was very intentional in understanding the entertainment business, whether you're an actor, a singer, a dancer, because I've managed a little bit of all, but understanding what points on a record means, or understanding just the business, so that most artists, they just want to do their craft. So business model number one is know your business. Know who you're managing or what you're managing, whether it's a project or a client. From a marketing space, I was a brand manager for up until 2 years ago. I was the brand manager for every W hotel in the North American market.
Wow.
Very huge, very
Still got the
big.
plug?
Hmm.
You still got the plug?
I still have a plug. Anybody that still got the plug.
We need that.
I got
we
you.
need that tomorrow.
Yeah, like
I-
tomorrow.
We need it tomorrow.
I know where you're going. I got you.
Thank you.
But
There you go.
again, I started.
Believe bigger, Shan.
For sure.
I
Thank you,
started with that company, and it was a Starwood property at the time as a favor to someone because their marketing person had quit. And I'm like, as long as I can still run my business, I will help with yours. So that's very key for me. If I'm going to come and work for you, I need to still be able to run my business. So, and I have a great staff, a great team, and we're all hands-on. But at the end of the day, if I can't always understand what's going on in my business, I can't help anybody else's business. So with understanding, I didn't know anything about hospitality, but I learned it. It's not hard, but you have to be a student of what you're saying that you're an expert in. Mm-hmm. So I took a lot of time to understand hospitality, and I sat in every department. I can't call myself a brand manager and not understand what housekeeping or what the front desk or what a typical day of a general manager or what the B&F director. You can't manage a brand and create different things for that brand. And the W brand is different. It's not, it's a lifestyle brand. So you had to understand what you're calling yourself an expert in. So I took a lot of time before I got to that role, just a marketing director. Okay, great, fine. And learning and understanding. So the business models is truly understanding what I say that I can do and actually doing it. So it's like my business is a little bit different. It's not just one thing, and every client has a different need. So there's no way I can take on an athlete and say, yep, I'm a manage your athletic career, because I don't really know a whole lot about sports. Now, if you want me to take your career and get you more publicity, I can rock with you all day long because I understand that and I have those media relationships. And I'm very big on reputation management and making sure that you deliver and you say what you mean and mean what you say. So for me, my business model is a little bit different because it's not traditional. It's a couple of different
Side
things.
note, I got a quick question on that.
I got
so, like you first off, yes, can we get the W to sponsor this podcast? First off. But when you like somebody that manages, do you take artists that are just good at what they do and they don't have exposure, or
Yes.
do you?
It depends.
So I never understood.
I have to believe in what you do. Because if I don't believe it, then I can't market you. I can't push you. I can't rep you. I can't do that if I don't believe in what you do. You, in your mind, in my mind, I can sing. Now, to everyone else, I cannot. And I know that. So me thinking it and you thinking it, I have to believe in, because I can't stand behind someone and market and push and promote someone when I know in the back of my mind, he cannot sing, he can't act, he can't, whatever their talent that they is. So I have to believe in what you're doing before I would take somebody on as a client.
Gotcha. I never it just seems like there's no money up front. And it's like throwing a shot in the dark amongst all these people that are artists, and you're trying to get someone to believe in this person that nobody knows. How often does that ever work out, though?
I don't know, because my clientele, my roster has never been no names. It's never, they've always come with some weight behind their name. So it's difficult for me, but I've seen it. And I've had people approach me who wanted me, and I would if I had the capacity. But again, the management side is really something that I'm trying to phase out, because it's really technically, it's you're being a babysitter.
Gotcha. I want to talk real quick, because you all are the heads of your business, yes? Do you all have like a number two? Yes. Or somebody that, a number two. Can y'all kind of talk through how you mentor or how you start to shape that person? Are you trying to shape them to take your place, or you're just trying to shape them to be the best them? Or how do you all handle that conversation? Yes.
So I own a luxury boutique brokerage here in Atlanta, House Real Estate Group. And recently I just got licensed this year I've got licensed in California, Florida, and about to finish up Chicago this month. So my goal with that is to be able to franchise for every city. Here at the top of the year, I had almost 40 agents very quickly, which is a lot to manage as one person. It's not always about quantity, it's about quality. So I had to scale that down. And now we have a good, solid winning team that I absolutely love. For the Florida, for the Florida, for the California, and for the Chicago, at this point, because my goal is to franchise, which is where I'm at now, is to franchise this brand to other locations and have someone build each one up. So COVID, I sat down, I built my systems. I built my business model. I built the plans, the worksheets, everything that every single agent is going to need. And every managing broker of that office will need to be able to sustain the business, know how to chart everything, know how to stay on track, know how to market, know how to build their business, build their agents up, and kind of keep that same sense of community in every single office. Just like you go into every single Starbucks or every single Chick-fil-A is, hi, good morning, what can I get for you? I want that same brand to go all the way through into every single business. So finding the right people, which definitely took some trying to find that number two, and to find a number two in every location, and even partnering with other people. I'm all for collaboration. So I'm happy to collaborate with another broker in another city and say, hey, what do you have here that's working? Or I'll have a lot of times brokers that reach out to me and say, hey, I have a small office that we opened up. It's not really going that great. What are you guys doing there? Can you coach me? Can you train me and teach me how to run my office? What systems do you use, and so on and so forth? And that's kind of what I've been doing now, is just partnering with other broker owners who have small companies that want to partner up and take on mine, kind of just like a Keller Williams or a Reichard or a Coldwell Banker, how you franchise into different offices. My goal for House is to do the exact same thing and to franchise in other offices, which is why I'm starting myself out to get into those markets and say, hey, let me figure out how Chicago works. Before we started filming, I was just talking to the ladies about Chicago, and I was like, yeah, I'm going this weekend. Where should I go eat at? What hotels, and so on and so forth. Because I want to be able to experience that, to say, okay, this is how this market works. This is what's going to work for this particular broker owner, for this agent, to build that business model up and say, this is how we run this business. The way I've created House here, and really, as entrepreneurs, we go through learning lessons. We go through the hard times, trying to hire on your sister, your cousin, your buddy, your auntie, and everybody else. And it's like, yeah, that don't work. I love y'all, but it's not going to work. So I've gone through that. I've hired on those eager people that want to come on. That sometimes worked and did not work. And then I had to find people that were really serious about their business, that saw the same vision I saw, that wanted to be exactly what I have going on now. If they want to sell on a top tier market or sell in a very luxury space, it's Tahlia, what do I need to do that? Well, for one, you can't be on the beach with your ass out. So let's take that down. I need you to take the OnlyFans link off your Instagram too. And those are things. But I mean, you would love it. COVID was tough for a lot of people. COVID was tough for a lot of people, apparently. So, trying to explain to them and trying to explain to people and show them, hey, this is what you're looking for. So even as I'm hiring now or looking for other brokers to partner with, I have a certain avatar of the person that I want, the person that I want to hire. As I think, most entrepreneurs do. You have a certain avatar of who that is and what type of person you want to be on your brand or to be with your company as an employer as well. So essentially that's what it is. It's just making sure you find that number two that can execute everything that you're doing. The exact same model without me I hate micromanaging. So I tell my kids something one time, that's it. I don't have to tell adults 2-3 times the same thing. Like you said, A through Z, this is it, just go through it and that's all.
David, I tried to hire a number two, David. And number two tried to take out number one. It was not pretty. Oh, it was ugly. That's all I wanted to say. I don't really want to talk about it.
Tell me more.
We got you, because you about to start rocking. She about to start rocking on it.
You saw her pulling the hair?
Yes.
She's like,
she feeling
Yes.
it. Woo!
So I will just say that I am handling it hard because delegation has been difficult for me. So I was already I was already stepping out of my comfort zone, even attempting to bring someone on in this capacity. But at the beginning, I really felt like, oh my God, I'm not just an entrepreneur. I'm running a company now. Yeah. Like it was totally different. Like, I'm running a company. And so that was great. I did feel, more of stepping into the CEO role and out of the worker role, which is what I've, been. But when you said knowing who you want is knowing what you can't handle, I think is even more important than knowing what you do want. Absolutely. Knowing those red flags. It's the same as dating. It's the same as dating, yeah. And not recognizing the red flags because I saw them. But, it was feeling good. Like I was getting to be the CEO. So I thought, it's cool.
I know what you're thinking. How the heck do you make money from a podcast? Is David just doing this podcast because he likes it, or there's a heavily monetized strategy attached to it? Well, it's both. I really love talking and interviewing people and getting free game from really successful people. But also, this is a 7-figure podcast. I'm telling you right now, there's so much money in podcasting and we're early in the space. I really feel like it's 2009 and I'm telling you to buy Bitcoin. I'm right now telling you to start podcasting because in 5-10 years, it's skyrocketing. Those are the names that are going to be the ones who have the voices in our world, the ones that start a podcast right now, okay? So I put together everything I know about podcasting in an easily digestible program, okay? So go to podcastersblueprint.com and I got to give y'all some love, okay? Enter code SOCIALPROOF. I'm taking 20% off so you can get your voice heard, all right? So this podcast that you're loving and enjoying, there's other people that's going to love and enjoy yours too, okay? Podcastersblueprint.com. Let's get back to the episode.
When you're building your team, and like I was building my team, what I do requires a lot of skill, a lot of technical skill. It's a lot of detail in what I do. You can't tell me you want blue shirts and the detail is, do you want navy blue? Do you want royal blue? Do you want North Carolina blue? So I give you back a shirt and you tell me it wasn't what I wanted. It's very detail oriented. Yeah. So I've kissed a lot of frogs in the sense that I've had a lot of people come to my shop where I wanted to train, where I wanted to be a part. Because, hey, we're supposed to be building each other up and helping each other out, right? So my job as an entrepreneur and a part of what made me was helping other people. So if you came into my shop at one point and you even look remotely interested in doing, because there's not a lot of people that's really interested in what I do. So if you look like it, then I spent 3 months only for that person to be like, this ain't what I want to do. But for me, that was me training somebody. Yeah. So long story short, I invested in a young man that was at the time probably 24, 25. And he seemed to be interested in, and he had his own printer and some other things. And I said, hey, don't work for me. Rent a little space in here. Now, my rent is ridiculous, but I made it affordable to him. Let's say it was a fraction of what I paid for it. Tenth of what
Why you do that?
Because in my eyes and how I grew up and how I came here to Atlanta, so many people helped me. And they didn't ask me for anything. And I was so eager to learn and they were so excited to teach me. And this is what we're supposed to do as people, right? We're supposed to help each other out. So in my mind, I was giving opportunities where these young people at the time didn't have opportunities. You would never be able to get in the building because they require paperwork a mile long and credit checks and all kind of stuff. So I gave this young man an opportunity only to get sued for $3 million. And when I tell you it broke my heart,
okay,
because this is somebody that I spent 3 years mentoring. So when I tell you, you have to pay attention, and there were red flags. Yeah. There were red flags. So the red flags were, father comes in and said, hey, seen you on a TV show. And I just totally bypassed it. I'm like, we trying to talk about your son and what your son's trying to do. So there was all these red flags along the way. So finally, when we had problems inside with him and another young lady, I brought a friend of mine in from a Fortune 500 company that does HR. And he spent 3 hours with this young man and us at the shop. My shop is small. And when it was done, he said, get rid of him. And I totally bypassed because I believed in this young man, right? I mean, he's young. He's kind of got puppy dog eyes for the other young lady in my shop. And eventually it'll fall, by the wayside. And it just grew to be the monster that I never expected it to be. which is now resulting in I have to pay for legal. I have to do a whole
You're going
bunch
through
of
this right now.
Currently, I'm going through this right now. And it killed my spirit. It made me never, and I lost my purpose because I felt like my purpose was to help other people in my industry because there's enough money for all of us. You guys, some of you are doing similar things. So, and one thing I love about Atlanta is you can sell lint. If you sold lint, and you had the best lint out here, and you delivered the lint on time,
People gonna pay for it.
They gonna
people
love you.
will support you.
Yes.
They're like, girl, did you get that lint from her?
Yes.
So that's what I love about Atlanta. You can create anything. You can come up with anything. As long as you're consistent, your integrity is in place, people will support you. They may not come. If you don't keep those things in place, they won't come back. But as long as you are consistent and you really believe other people will come into that and play into building your community. So what it did for me is I lost hope in people. I didn't want to be bothered. I started turning in where I didn't want to share. And if anybody wanted any information, I was suspicious. And it took me a long time to get out of that. And I'm working through it now. And I had to understand that, you know, people, you have to watch what are their reasonings. Because for me, I'm just a regular Joe Schmo. I'm just a 47-year-old woman hustling T-shirts. That's my
40s.
Queen, can I chime in? Please don't let that break your spirit because there are people with your heart and your good intentions. I think there isn't a person in this room who has not been burnt. And whether it's business, personal, people who you never thought would cross you. But don't let that take you from the character and the woman of God that you were meant to be because it exudes you. You like when you walk in the room, you can feel your presence. And it's like that woman has a good heart. I didn't know you until today. So don't let that one incident.
Oh, it hurt my heart.
I know it is. And it is painful. It's gonna hurt your heart. It's probably gonna hurt your pocket. All that for a little bit.
Maybe
You'll get
another like 48 hours.
You'll get over it. But don't let it change who you are and wanting to give individuals an opportunity. It was just a bad decision. And what we as women do is we see red flags and we ignore them. They're there for a reason. And what I've learned is the moment that I see a red flag, I'm going with it.
I want y'all to listen. Listen to what she's saying because nobody's trying to tell you how to run your business, but we don't want you to go through a lot of the heartbreak and heartache we went through. Yeah. Trust your gut. If your gut is telling you, you know, it's not the people that you hire, it's the people that you don't fire. For whatever reason. This is my cousin. This is my brother.
Ooh, that'll preach right there.
This girl got
Cheers.
you're
Lord have
caring
mercy.
for your business, but you're an empath or you're sympathetic. We have to vet the people that we're around like we vet relationships. You know, when guys give you red flags or women give you red flags, we have to use that same method and theory in our business. The moment you hear something, I listen to people now, do you have a car? I got a young man now that he came in my shop, he was 19 years old. What I like about him is he's loyal. He's been working for Krispy Kreme since he was 16. He's 19, he's consistent. This young man would get up at 2 a.m. to be at Krispy Kreme at 3 and done at 11 and at my shop at 12 and work till 5. And he did that since January. And I have so much respect for him. And so that was way better than the people who I came in this time last year. My shop was bubbling with people. It was fun, but we wasn't getting any work done. You know, I was constantly trying to put out fires between people, and it was just a whole lot of bullshit going on. You know, I mean, for lack of a better word. Sorry.
For lack of a better word,
but I cuss. You have to find a team and people who I hear believe in you. You have to be around people who believe in your dream, not somebody telling you how that's gonna work when you be hooking people up. That's not gonna work. You have to be around people that like, girl, I think that'll work. That's a good idea.
The energy is everything.
Play into your dreams, not people who knock you down. You have to put yourself around the circles. It may not be exactly what you do, but people who are going through the same struggle. So I can call you and cry and be like, This is hard.
But I'm gonna let you cry one day. And then the next day I'm gonna tell you
No,
need to
that's
get
it.
over it.
Yes.
Let's go. What
Let's
we
go.
doing? I don't want you to tell me the same problem twice.
Yes.
I'll give you my ear once, but second day, what we doing about it? So how we moving forward?
That's right.
And my second in command is my daughter.
Oh.
She's 27. And I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 20 years. So I am retiring from certain divisions of the business. Now, my daughter is a ghostwriter. So I do have a new book coming out called Identity Switch. My daughter co-authored it with me. So I'm placing her in a position so I have even more free time. So a lot of the stuff that you may see on social media from me, she knows how to sound exactly like me. So what we did was she was working and, she was a dispatch for Atlanta PD. And I said, I'm going to let you go ahead and do that. I watched her try to do her own thing. I'm going to let you do that. And my sons, I have my 25 and 23-year-old, they work for the company too. I just had to realize if you do have children that you want to work with, understand they don't have the wisdom that you have, nor will they meet your expectation based upon what you think you put in them at that moment. So in my mind, I thought my daughter at the time, she was, okay, you got this. She wasn't ready yet. In my mind, because she's 27, she bought her house at 21, I'm thinking she is evolved or more mature than she was. No, all she did was do a business transaction to buy a house. So I had to realize, wait a minute, she's not ready. And I had to stop frustrating myself because I'm like, no, I'm your mama. You need to know this. You should know this.
Right.
You April Mason child, right? And I had to give them time to become themselves, make their mistakes. And then now here they all come back, mama, that photo booth business, because we have a photo booth family business that the kids run. Mama, that photo booth business, my job over here wasn't working. Oh, so now you want to make some money now, right? So that's my sons. But my daughter, everything that I do, she can do better than me. She's been watching me since we moved to Georgia when they were 4.
Did you always think like that?
What?
Or did you develop into that thought process?
Well, I always I'm all about legacy. Even when I was dating, I don't look to marry for love, strictly for love, or strictly for, I like you, you sexy, and not, you look good in them gray sweatpants. I don't do that. I am all about legacy and merging. So my daughter didn't understand that at first. And now she gets it because we won't always feel in love. So when she started to understand how I moved and she started seeing the fruits of how I moved, she says, Mom, I made a mistake. What do you need me to do? I said, you are one of the best ghostwriters that I know. She writes music and everything. So if you give her an idea, she can write a song for you in 10 minutes. So she won the Maya Angelou Award in high school and college, all that stuff. So I knew I was transitioning out, and there's another part of my life that I want to focus on. But my daughter maintains everything. So with the Dating Academy, with our app, and with our other businesses that we have, she handles all of the back end, everything. The automation of it. When women see stuff, they say, oh my God, Miss April, you said that today. No, Adriana said that today. And she says, Mom, I've been signing your name since the 8th grade, so I know how to sound just like you. So she's my second in command. And I told her, I said, listen, I'm moving on at the end of 2021. You see, I'm now shutting down the Dating Academy. I'm shutting down these divisions and moving here. Can you take this part on? And she said, I got you. So I backed up, when our businesses are our babies and we're married to them. I had to learn how to divorce myself from my business in order for somebody to actually take it on. If I trained you, I have to believe that you can do it. When she makes a mistake, I'm like, I'll be up at like 2 or 3 in the morning looking at the sport tickets. Okay, Adriana, you didn't say this right. Oh, I got it. Stop looking at this stuff. She stops me from micromanaging. If I'm doing something or if she noticed that I answered a support ticket, she'll text me, get off the internet. We have this. Your team has this. So I had to learn how to sit back and see if my child could do exactly what I trained her to do. And she got it. And she don't want to be nowhere else. She said, Mama, everything you do, you've already set the blueprint. Why would I go against the blueprint? So that's my second in command.
I'm in that space right now with Deja, with my daughter. She's 19. She's a junior in college. And she literally is my second in command when I think about it, right? Because like you, I have an issue with delegating certain things, like important stuff. So my daughter runs.
But it's all important, isn't it?
It's important.
All
There
important.
are some things that I can delegate, and then there are some things that I just won't. And my daughter really handles the systems and operations behind like my groups and things like that. And I recently fired her. So she's 19 years old and she has worked for other people, right? And my daughter plays with me. So she shows up and she works for other people and she does a phenomenal job. She's like the top employee. And when I used to pick her up from work, they're like, oh, your daughter's going to be somebody. And then she comes in and she's working for my company and it starts off and it's amazing. And then she starts like kind of backing off a little bit. And now things are happening late and things are kind of happening on your time. And where something needed to happen by 9 a.m., I'm watching. And if I don't say anything, it won't happen until 11 a.m. So I just had my final straw like a week ago and I fired her. And she came home last week and it hurt me I called my mom and I was like, yeah, I had to fire Dej. And she's like, yeah, I bet that didn't feel good. And I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. If she doesn't want to work in my company, I'm not going to force her to do it. Right. Because she's still also finding herself. And I don't want to force her into a situation where she feels like she has to work for me. I want her to want it. But I am also all about legacy. And truly the only reason that I'm building my business is for my family. Yes. Like I want to have a legacy, leave a legacy for my family. And my mom's like, I bet that really didn't feel good. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. A day or two later of me doing her job, I realized like, not only does it not feel good because it's setting me back from a productivity standpoint, but I fired my daughter and that doesn't feel good. And I had to think about what's the lesson that I'm teaching her, because I told her you have to have money coming in, right? I don't care how much money, you need to be doing something. And there's reasons for that. So you need to be doing something. And I felt like in that moment when she came home, I looked at her, we were in the kitchen and I looked at her and I said, here's what we're going to do. As of Monday, which was literally today, you're going to get your job back and you're going to take your job back and you're going to do it with excellence, because you don't know what you want to do with your life. And I'm not pressuring you at 19 to know those things. Mm-hmm. But what you're not about to do is play with my opportunity like it's not a real job. Mm-hmm. You are not about to go and perform for these other companies, because what are your options? Where are you going? You are not about to go and be their star employee and treat your mom's opportunity like it's less than. So I said, you don't have to stay in this role, but you are going to take this role back and you are going to be excellent in this role for as long as that role shall be. And I think that she was even really, because I'm literally gifting you an opportunity in the event that you don't know what you want to do with your life. So today, she's like on it. I got all kinds of heads up, right? But listening to you, I understand that you don't want to pressure your kids to do what you want them to do. I think when you have a parent, especially a mom who's successful, your girls are already having an identity crisis. They don't want to be measured up against their mom. So I've made this comfortable for her, but this is your job. You don't intern anywhere. You don't have another job, but you have all these needs. So this is where you're working. And I'm going to develop you with some professional skills. You don't get to go back and work for the fast food restaurant. You're not about to go work in the mall. We're developing and sharpening some skills. Whether she chooses to stay there or not is up to her. But ideally, I want her to be my right hand in the future if she chooses to be. Until then, where's he at? I am looking for a right hand. I am in desperate need of a right hand. I have several people who work in my company, but I don't yet have a right hand, because that right hand role requires so much transparency and trust, so much honor. And what I'm learning right now is the people who are qualified to really be in that right hand role don't want to be your right hand.
Want to be the hand.
They want to be the leader. Yeah. They want to be the body. They're not trying to be an extremity, right? They want to be entrepreneurs. And I get it, because that was me. I think about how many people I was qualified to be the right hand for. And no matter how talented I was, I didn't want to be your right hand. I am my own entity. And that's what I'm running into right now. So we've got a lot of people who are doing tasks and performing well in roles, because I got some of my team members in here, just to be clear, well in roles. But with that being said, the right hand position, should this person choose that, he doesn't want to work through the struggles and hardships of being
Y'all really need to have a conversation. She's using the podcast to get her message across.
Not you. I'm talking about Kyle.
Ooh.
Yep. So Kyle is right now acting as my right hand, but I know that it's
He's also his own entrepreneur.
He's also his own entrepreneur, so we're at an impasse right now.
Yeah, I think, and I'll be the first to say that I have a really, really good team.
All right, look, I know you're enjoying the episode, but I got to tell you, finally, you asked for it, and we created a Patreon, okay? We created an inner circle. We have amazing stories, amazing information, how-tos from the episodes. The only thing we're missing is a community. So it's about that time. We put together our Patreon, we put together a community because we have to have conversation around the information. So even this podcast we're listening to right now, there needs to be conversation. I want to hear what you got. Like, let's throw some stuff back and forth. And because we're like-minded, we're all going in the same direction. When we connect in a community, we can connect on other stuff outside the community because we're building real relationships. Okay, so check out the Patreon. We got 3 tiers. I don't care what tier you join. The support is appreciated. Okay, thank you so much. Now back to the episode.
And I guess it's not necessarily you have to be the right hand, but you have to be you can own a space in a business where you're not anybody's right hand. It's just, this is what you control in a business, right? And there's going to be benefits to that role as, your impact grows. But I want to ask you all if we all have any questions real quick. I know we're drawing quickly.
You see him on the back?
All right. All right.
She's standing up.
Y'all enjoy the conversation so far? Y'all enjoy yourself tonight? Gotta say a shout out to Chef Beasley for the wonderful job. Hey, can we make sure my wife ate? Does she have a plate?
David, you know what? Right. 2 hours.
I was thinking about it. I didn't want to interrupt the conversation, but I felt it was only right. Is my boo good? She all right?
Where is she? Do you see her?
I don't know. I don't see her. I feel her. I feel her. Here.
I don't see her.
Did she just come
That's
in
her.
with the
Oh,
baby?
yeah. She just
Yeah,
came.
with the baby.
Hold on. I gotta say it again. Can we make sure my wife ate? Because I just want to make sure. Oh, she just came in. You good?
Dre, are you comfortable? You need something to lift your feet, elevate your legs?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. What's up, Sean?
Greetings. Is it on?
Yes.
Greetings, gorgeous goddesses. Thank y'all so much for coming and talking and grace with your presence today. And King David, we appreciate you as well.
Grand Rising, Queen.
Grand Rising, yes. Peace, Queen.
The Lord is
Peace and
in
blessings. Yes.
And I took notes on this because I got to go relieve the babysitter. So I was like, let me make this quick.
I love it.
So I spent 20 years in the Air Force. And I think back on it, I had never seen a feminine commander. I had never seen a feminine woman in charge and in command. And I've never seen really soft females in the military. And so my whole life, I didn't know what it was to be a feminine woman until after I retired. And I found people like you, Miss April Mason. Thank you so much for everything you do. I've been on, okay, stay still, sorry. Okay, he said, get to my question. Tell Rick Ross I say, hey. So my question is, do you feel you sacrifice love for success? And would you have preferred to have both earlier in life?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Woo!
I believe I chose to sacrifice love for success. I don't believe in this or that. I believe in this and that. And so early on, because I didn't come from that strong, independent woman family, but I thought my mother's femininity was weak because she chose a man that could not honor it. So what I did was
Can you say that again? Can you say that one more
I
time,
said,
please?
I thought my mother's femininity was weak because my mother is very soft. She's very loving and catering and all those things, right? And I watched her choose a man that could not honor her femininity. So what happened was intentionally made myself hard. I had to come back to the middle because I'm looking at her as, oh, you're just so passive. Why are you, why he get the big piece of the chicken? Like, why we gotta wait, But I understand as an adult, a more mature woman, she just chose a man that could not honor that space with her. And so that's when I started learning, you don't have to choose one or the other. And a lot of times we feel like we have to choose. So even with my clients, I have this thing called the Feminine CEO. We trademark that. And what that is we teach women how to be feminine CEOs and have a lifestyle too. So we just, and I got this from you. Thank you very much. You and Trap, I was a part of your, you got on me about the podcast at the conference. And so I participated in your 5-day boot camp. I said, well, I want to do a 5-day boot camp too. So I did it. And I said, I'm going to do exactly his blueprint and do what he did. And it was very successful. Thank you very much. But in that, what I taught was not just business. Day one was all about what she was just asking, how to do both. And that goes back to what I said earlier. I have my day set. I take time for me in the morning. I go to bed cute on purpose. I sleep on satin pillowcases on purpose. I live a very Zen lifestyle. My home, people come over, they just want to go to sleep because it's so peaceful. But I also am, like as we said, a high level performing entrepreneur. I just switch the energy of what I do. It doesn't mean that I don't, I have 4 grandkids. Doesn't mean that I don't play with them and enjoy my family. However, okay, it's time to come get your children because I have a spa day. And when I plan my schedule as an entrepreneur, I plan my schedule with spa days, with little miniature trips inside of that, outside of my work. I don't know about y'all, but I go flower picking. What that does for me is it allows me to do what I call feminine mindless activities. I'm picking flowers. I'm not doing anything that's requiring me to think. I go paint pottery. So when women ask me, how do I get in that space? Start doing things that do not require a lot of mental work. So I always go pick flowers. I go pick strawberries, girl, at the strawberry farm. You will always find me doing little mindless things. This weekend, I'm going to go learn how to make fragrances and smell perfumes. That keeps me in that feminine energy. So when I know it's time, okay, on Monday, I have this to do, I have already rested in that. And now I'm ready to go. But I intentionally make time in my day. April, I check in with me. How am I feeling right now? Why do I feel this way? Is anybody doing anything to me? What's going on? Am I triggered behind anything? So I have those check-ins with me intentionally. And what I tell my people to do, and you may want to try this, get your phone, program in your phone messages to go off in your phone to remind you to take a break, to remind you whatever your issue is that you're struggling with, a reminder that says, I am so soft and gentle today. Today, I don't react, I respond. And just those little gentle reminders, and that's what helps. When the man at the store asks you, can I carry your bag to the store? Say yes. It gets you into the energy of receiving. If the man at the gas station, he might be a vagabond. Can I pump your gas for $2? Yes.
No.
Yes, he gonna pump my gas. Yes, ma'am, because I don't, what will you do? I don't have, yes, let him pump your gas. But then again, but then if you have
pump my gas and fill my damn car.
let him pump your gas. Let him pump your gas, or if you got a Tesla like I do, let him charge it for $2.
Donnie,
and it gets
put the
you
little
into
reminder
that.
in your phone, the little
I'm
soft and
put- hey.
gentle thing.
Feminine energy is turned all the way up. Do you hear me? I'm doing nothing.
Soft and
Yes,
gentle.
do
Use
nothing.
those words,
Spend
though.
a day. Do nothing.
I am
Just spend
soft.
a day.
I am
do nothing.
sweet. I am flowing. I am in grace. I am a divine feminine energy.
Yes.
I like
so
that.
I got to start incorporating these things.
But you also are assertive. You have boundaries, and
I'm
you
assertive.
Yes, you have boundaries. Yes.
I have power.
Yes.
I am soft. I am
Yes.
kind. I am
Yes.
Yes. Let's go,
How you gonna affirm everything? She said I'm soft, I'm hard, I'm gentle, I'm rough.
All that. Yes.
Because I don't believe I have to choose.
You don't.
I
There
can
is
be
no-
hard and soft.
That's what I was
going
gonna say.
And sour. I can be both. Like
Okay.
And I think we've grown up
Let me
thinking
know how
that we
works out,
have
bro.
to choose.
You don't have to choose.
You do not have to choose.
And everybody's have their own feminine brand.
Yes.
You know, mine is more the softer pink and all of that. I love everything girly, but Angelina Jolie in Tomb Raider, that was the dark feminine, and that's sexy and feminine too. So you got to understand everybody's won't look the same. However, the place that it comes from is normally the same, but how it's displayed is different.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
A feminine killer.
Yes.
I can do that.
That's the model you gonna follow?
I can do that. But I can also do, you know, whoever those other women are.
Next question, please.
So I have a question about boundaries. I think the word just came up. And more specifically, I think people talk about boundaries as something that you create for other people. But the question is, what has been the most difficult boundary that you've had to set for yourself to help with your success?
Ooh, I was about to say, okay.
Not stepping into someone's space and saying, let me help you. Because not everyone wants your help. Some people enjoy the suffering.
Yes.
And I hate to say it like that,
Yeah.
but they enjoy the suffering. They enjoy being wrong. They enjoy doing it the hard way. No matter if you already have the will, they want to go build an octagon over here or whatever. They just don't like the help. And I've had to learn I can't help every single person that I want to because my heart is there. I want to help the whole world. I want to help everybody win and everybody be happy and we all make money and everybody's just living in 70 acres with our chickens and our goats.
Yes,
I want a
ma'am.
llama. I really want a llama. So, you know, I really do.
Yes.
But
yes.
I had to, I can't overextend myself to every single person because everybody is not willing to accept it. Some people find it intrusive, very intrusive. They feel like I'm stepping into their space too much or I'm micromanaging. And it's not that. It's like, no, let me show you because I want you to do better. Like I have a toddler. He's potty training or something. So today he wants to get dressed. He wants to wear Spider-Man underwear, gray sweatpants, cream colored Timberland shirts, a green jacket, and some red and blue shoes, whatever. Baby, let me help you. No, Mom, I got it. Trey, let me help you put this, let me help you match it right. Like just to get the right colors together. No, Mom, I got it. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You know, I have to step back and say, this is you, and this is what you want to do. Same thing with adults. Not everyone wants your help. And I am, if you know me, I have such a big heart and I'm willing to help everybody. You come to my house and eat if you need a plate on Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. On the weekend, come to my house, I'm always cooking. Not everybody wants your help. And that was probably the biggest boundary I had to learn for everyone else, not so much myself.
Another boundary is just learning how to say no.
Yes.
Like no is not a bad word. I've actually learned the power of no in 2021. I'm very much like you. I'm a giver. If you ask, I'm gonna give. If you don't ask, I'm gonna give. But I've learned how to say no and really learn how to take time for me, which is something that you speak very, very highly of. Like no is not a bad word, and it's okay to say no.
I think we're all saying the same thing. Overextending yourself, you know, it's a detriment to not only you but the other person, because if you don't meet those expectations, then now you created a bad situation, an enemy. You disappointed yourself. You're burnt out. You can't be in all these different places helping all these different people. And I found that, like you said, you have to say no. I said yes and then found myself at the shop till 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. And then people get used to that. Yeah. That becomes a standard. I had become the name of, you know, call Shea when you're in a clutch. And then now when people, how long have this event been going on? Oh, we've been planning it for months. So you're calling me the day before because what? You know? So saying no and not overextending yourself is one of the biggest things.
We got. Go for it, Kyle.
So I really believe one of the biggest things that we have to understand is that women are the tide and men are the ships. And I think a lot of times we don't understand as men, as our women rise, we indirectly rise as well. And I think one of the conversations, and what I really appreciate about the women on the panel, is that they haven't bashed, they haven't disrespected or downplayed the importance of respecting and acknowledging and empowering their man. But I guess my question is, how can we better support you as women when we're in position, when we're in rooms, when we have the knowledge, without always just being the coach? How can we better support you, and what does that actually intentionally look like at home and also in the roles of relationships as well?
See, I like
So,
that.
I can jump in.
I
I'll
like
start
it.
that
Go
one.
ahead. Come on.
So
Right.
my number 2 is my husband. I had to teach him the business. He doesn't do everything that I do, but he's my number 2. He understands the business. He supports me in his own way. And for every individual, support can look different. It could be walking the dog. Like, we have a son. Our son is actually part of our business now, but he's grown. He's 29. He's on the music side. He's into music, so he's managing the artists with me. However, when you talk about support is different, and everyone needs to be supported differently. It could be from mental support. It could be doing something around the house or taking a load off of the woman's chest. Like, I'm going to get dinner. That doesn't necessarily have to be cooking it. It can be, I ordered dinner and dinner is ready for you whenever you come through the door. Or it could be, I ran a bath water for you, or I made the dog's appointment. From a personal standpoint, from a business standpoint, everyone's level of support is different. But just for most women, and I think I can speak pretty confident when I say this for most women, just knowing that we have you in our corner to support for whatever carries so much weight.
Absolutely. And can I, go on.
I'm sorry, removing the word what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
What you need to do it.
What you need to do is
The biggest turn off in dating is when I found men saying, see what you need to do. Oh, when I say it burns me, because you're not really offering any advice, you're taking over. I've been doing this for quite a few years. And you meet me, and the first thing you want to tell me is, what you need to do is hire you a couple. I'm like, what do I do? Pull up at QT and be like, hey, any one of y'all want to street rent? No, it doesn't work that way. I found a friend that said, ask, what's your problem, Shea? And I said, I need somebody that helps me, that's not trying to take over. He thought for a couple days, and this changed my whole view of him. Mm-hmm. Up until then, I thought he was an arrogant jerk. Mm-hmm. And he sat and thought about it, and he sent me the most wonderful person to help me with my business. And I couldn't ask for a better resolution. While I had 10 other guys that's been like, see what you need to do. Remove that. Remove that. How can I help you? Let's figure this out together. Let me see where I can find somebody for you or support you. Take that out your vocabulary and it'll change the whole,
Is that the coach?
whole energy.
And I was,
What you need to do is be
I
like,
was just asking questions like that and being sincere about it. How can I support you? A lot of times we really don't know, right? We don't have an answer per se, like a directive, but just knowing that you are willing to be there to support in that moment means that's enough for me.
And you know what? That goes into asking, that y'all fellas always ask this question. If we come to you kind of like frustrated and flustered, we don't always want you to solve the problem. In that moment, ask, babe, do you want me to listen or do you want me to solve the problem? If you ask that right there, because when we're talking to you, y'all's mind is automatically going on how to fix the problem. We don't always want you to fix it. We just want to know that you're there and you hear and see us. And I just want to lay on your shoulder and fall out and tell you of everything. And I don't want you to do anything but hold me, please.
and
Let me lay my drama out and just hold me.
And refrain from trying to fix it, because I really don't want it fixed.
Yeah.
I was going to add into opening the doors, not just physically opening a door, but if you have access to a space that I haven't tapped or a market that I haven't tapped, open that door for me. Invite me into that room, whether it's your buddy who is the CEO of who can help me with printing or can help me with marketing. Open that door for me. And I feel like, and this is my experience sometimes in dating, some men and even people just want to keep those connections to themselves. You know what I mean? Keep that network to themselves. And it's like, no, just open that door for me. I'll go in and speak. I can take over the room. But just open that door for me and allow me the access to be able to have or tap into whatever network that you have to. Even if it's something that you know how to do, open the door. Very simple.
That's good. Good question, Kyle. Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
How many questions we got?
Yeah. That's a line.
We got 3?
I thought there was.
Okay. All right. No
That's
more?
it, the line ends there.
Yeah.
So I recently realized that I don't want kids. Does anyone at the table not have kids by chance?
I can return mine.
I asked that because that's a hard non-negotiable for me. So I wonder, when you're dating, how soon do you bring up those hard non-negotiables? And is that something where I feel like I'm still in a place where I might be able to be persuaded, but I'm also not sure, and that's not a mistake that you can undo. So I don't know if that.
You gotta be honest with
I was about to
yourself.
say,
You gotta be 1,000% honest. Like, that's like, a man saying the same thing to you, would you be okay with that? So you gotta be 100%. I know I don't want kids, and I'm okay with that.
You're not 100% right
sure.
But you're not.
Yeah, you can be persuaded. You can be
Hard.
persuaded. You're not
You started
100%.
with,
Yeah.
that's a hard pass for me. And then you evolve that into, I could possibly still be persuaded. So right now you're not sure, and I would ask you to think about why you're not sure. What happened in your past to make you say, maybe I don't want kids, or what's currently playing in your mind that makes you feel that way. But I think if you go on a date with someone and you see that there will be a second or third date, you need to communicate that.
And don't believe that, because they throw this one at us. Well, you might be missing out on what God got for you because you got all these. Well, if God will give us the desires of our heart, if He knows in my heart I don't want children, if I come to that conclusion, I'm not missing out on anything.
Yeah. For me, I think there was never an alternative. I just grew up thinking that's what women do. And so this past year being single, I was like, wait, I don't see myself as a mother. I adopted that role because that's what I do. That's what all the movies said.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But it's also possible you're just going through a season. I mean, the fact that you said, I thought that's what I wanted until this past year, give it some more time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to change your mind either way, but you said hard pass and you said could be persuaded. You're dealing with something else that has nothing to do with
Donnie, what I heard is if the right man comes along.
In those gray sweatpants?
Yeah. Hello, somebody. That's all I heard.
With that crispy face.
Okay, so
No.
Yes.
I knew it. Okay,
There we go.
I think he playing. Okay, so is that?
Hold it up.
Hold it up.
It's in my mouth, y'all.
Well,
Jada, we have children.
There we go. So since y'all have children, what are some ways that your older children can better show their appreciation for you? I'm weak. She rolled her eyes. What are some better ways they can show their appreciation?
You start showing appreciation
outside
for
of
yourself.
just,
That's it. That's you start showing appreciation for yourself, and they will follow.
Wait, no, hold on a minute. I ain't got no kids.
Oh.
I'm asking this so I can do this for
Are you
mama.
asking like?
I'm not asking
To appreciate her mother.
Perspective? Because I think you're asking for yourself.
I'm asking for myself to my mom because she's very similar to all of y'all.
Yeah, I think if my daughter asked me more, I think if she took more initiative, it would mean the world to me. But I think just like with what Kyle said, if she just said, Mommy, how can I support you? Do you need anything? That would mean a big deal to me. A couple of weeks ago, before the termination, the wrongful termination. My daughter, you fired your kids, right? Yeah. My daughter told me that she was proud of me. And that meant the world to me. So that to me showed appreciation. Like she recognized, because sometimes you work hard and your kids don't understand. Like I didn't have an example. Right. I'm literally figuring this out, and you are the catalyst, daughter, behind this. So show a little appreciation, you know, because for me, especially with what I do, because I empower complete strangers, I used to feel like a hypocrite at one point. Like I'm going out into the world and I'm empowering all these strangers to be great and be amazing. And my daughter could care less. And I'm like, why can't I empower her to want to change the world, right? So I think just acknowledging the greatness that your mom stands for every now and then is a good start.
And do something for her. What my daughter does, and she's gotten really good at it. So I had a birthday in June and I showed up. She's like, Mom, you know, she had this stuff going on. And I'm like, I don't have time for this. I'm on my way home. When I got home, she had a surprise birthday party for me. Last October, after she didn't listen to me about some stuff and it backfired in her face, she called me over to her house and I see all of these cars at her house. I'm like, why are these people over here? But I'm not recognizing these are my friends' cars. She gave me a surprise appreciation dinner. Mom, I just wanted to say I appreciate you. So maybe once or twice a month, she's like, Mom, what you doing? I'm like, minding my business. She said, okay, let's go to breakfast. Yeah. So she'll do things like that because she wants to show her appreciation. So it doesn't have to be anything big. My sons, what my middle son will do, he'll say, Mom, you know, I'm about to come up there. You know, I'm about to do right. I'm like, what you doing, Willie? I'm about to get in your kitchen. I'm about to make you a cake, girl. And, and I'm thinking he gonna make it from scratch, but it's from the box. But it's still good. Right?
Hold on, from the box?
From the box cake.
That's not from scratch.
That ain't from scratch.
Not from scratch.
That ain't from scratch. No.
That's not scratch.
But he lets me know the frosting is.
Ultimately, I think what we're all communicating is just showing appreciate. Just spend time. Yeah. Right? So we're busy all the time, and many of us have probably sacrificed a lot of time away from our kids. I didn't necessarily have to do that. I started to build right at a good time to be able to spend time. But when Deja wants to spend time with me, it means more to me than anything in the world. And then just recently, I came out of my bedroom. She was visiting from school, and she like cleaned the kitchen. I'm talking about like clean, not just rinse the dishes off real good. She cleaned, took out the trash, wiped down the counters, and Did you cry? I didn't cry, but I definitely like wanted to drop a thug tear or two. I thought about it. Like I bragged about it. I called my mom, like, yo, Dave's cleaned the whole kitchen, the whole thing.
Not half, the whole.
Didn't cut because I get annoyed. You did the dishes, but you didn't wipe down the counters. You don't appreciate me.
Yes.
The whole kitchen.
Good question, Jada. Good question.
All right. Hey, y'all.
Hi.
So first, I want to say, David, thank you so much for creating this event, this space for us. I just moved here last month from Los Angeles.
Let's welcome her.
So my question is this. I have a question about the evolution of the boss chick in a relationship, okay? So I've been married for 15 years, and when I started in the relationship, I was a teacher. And so it was easier to tap into that feminine energy, you know, play my role and I was younger, I was more immature. So I was able to play a more feminine role. But as I have started to navigate the entrepreneurial space, I done tapped in a little more to the masculine energy. Girl,
you've been watching me.
I think that's I'm looking for some advice with just navigating that space so it's not so abrupt, and I am able to tap into the feminine energy a little more, because I feel like I'm fighting on the outside because I feel like I'm playing catch up. So that tends to come home with me. And then I also work with my husband. I actually work with my husband as well. And so switching the hats, because I'm still fighting like, yo, I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So just trying to navigate that feminine space, working with my husband as well as, we've been together for a while. So what can help me, April?
She said April. Go on, April. What do you do? We'll take you back. Go ahead. What field are you in?
To be honest with you, when I was married, I worked with my husband as well, and it was challenging. It was really, really challenging because you need to do this. What you need to do. Right? But what I've learned as I matured is I don't switch in and out of the feminine energy. I operate in it as a lifestyle. So I don't like I don't overextend myself. So for instance, like you said, you going at it, you trying to get it. Well, how about rest in it and let it come to you? Do what you need to do to make the business work. I'm not saying that you don't perform. I'm saying switch the energy of how you perform. So you can set up your day to say, okay, today I'm going to handle this, 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 and this. At this time, I'm shutting it down regardless of what I feel like I need to do. Tomorrow, if I make it, I can do it tomorrow. And that right there stops you from having to, be so going after it in such a hard manner. Because what you want, it's available to you, but you don't have to do it in that way. And I don't want you to do like I did, where my ex-husband used to come in. When you gonna turn off the computer? Are you ever coming to bed? I'm like, tomorrow, But I wasn't wise at the time because I'm like, I gotta get it. And then I would get up, get dressed, and I'm back getting it again. And it becomes, I'm not taking care of me, nor am I being the wife that I needed to be to him. So I've learned to work my business around that. Why I keep saying that. My business around my lifestyle. So then the question I would have to you is, what do you want your lifestyle to look like? I wanted my lifestyle to look like a laptop lifestyle. Y'all see pictures of me on the internet and all the time. I'm always on the beach. I'm always doing something. Am I doing my work? Yes, I have my laptop. I have my phone. But you have to decide, what kind of lifestyle do I actually want? And then work your business around that. But you ain't got to grind hard. You ain't got to be, I'm anti-boss chick because boss chick come with a different energy. When was the last time you heard a woman say, oh my God, I am such a boss chick? You don't. I'm a boss. That's a different energy. So when you say it in that manner, you're bringing on that energy. And then you feel like, matter of fact, I was telling Alex in the car, I was one of maybe 5 women at the Boss Up conference with Rick Ross, right? And everybody knows that I'm anti-boss chick. And they were like, they was throwing, how you going to be a part of the Boss Up conference and you anti-boss chick? I went to a Boss Up conference that was held by men. But I was the feminine CEO in the room full of bossed up men, right? So you can still operate and function in business. But when I went as the woman, and it definitely showed. And the things that I got from the fellas and the respect, it was like there was no need for me to create these boundaries because they were there, right? And I didn't have to go after it so hard. So I would just say, set up your day, sis, to the point where I'm taking a break. And tomorrow I'll do it. And it's gonna have you kicking and screaming trying to do it tomorrow. But do it tomorrow. And then put on some sexy lingerie for you after a bubble bath and relax. And then pick it up again the next day.
That's good. I can't really help with the feminine energy, but I can attest that when I got married and I have a family, my objective was to be home earlier, like 4 or 5 o'clock every day, right? And what happened was my business started to grow a lot faster because I had less time. And if you just got all day to work, and in my experience is the harder you work and the more you work, the less successful your business will be. The more you work, the harder you work, the less you'll make. Because you're a lot of the grinding and the working, a lot of it is busy work. Yeah. And when we have to be home, when I start telling people, I'm home by 4, I only take the most important things. And once I focus on the most important things, I don't have time to do busy work, and business started to grow. And like you said, I started to adopt this philosophy that, and remember, I built my brand off Sleep is for Suckers, grinding. Where I built my life off of that, right? But once I adopted, I'm going to do all that I can today. The rest I'll do tomorrow. Once I started adopting that philosophy, everything started to grow. So yeah, I'm like anti just like super grind. A lot of the stuff I do now is like more mental work. How do I think? But I'm still doing my very best, and my wife helps me to kind of shut it off. Like if we watch a movie, we just got this game. If you pick up your phone, it's like, look at you, you're addicted, right? I'll say that to her, and she'll say that to me. Like, put your phone down, right? So we have that. We just cut it off, and guess what? When I pick up my phone, everything didn't crash. Yeah. Nothing dies. It's crazy. You go on vacation, you think like everything's gonna crash, and it comes back, and everything's fine. It's cool. Even better without you, right? So this whole little event, if you see it, I would normally be here at 3:00, just making sure everything's right. But I think now that I trust the team, it looks like this. Because I'm like, yo, y'all, you do that. And I'm okay with something not working out to my particular standards. And then once I understood that, it started exceeding my standards. Because my standards kept it here. So I hope that helps. Yes, ma'am. Y'all not gonna clap? I ain't giving out no bars all day. All right.
The funny thing is, I actually think that was a great perspective, but as I was thinking, I have a question, but I was like, how does that apply to women as we navigate having to be the one chosen to be a wife? But that's not the actual question that I have.
Chosen to be a wife? Is that what you said?
Well,
I felt heat coming from Donnie.
We were just like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Let's not have this
conversation.
Okay, come on, talk.
For the record, we do the choosing.
We choose.
They present, we choose.
Drop my mic on that one. Sorry, Donnie.
Well, that's why. So everything that you were saying, it just made
Real
me
quick,
think about
before you
something.
keep your questions, but I feel like there's some conversation.
You know, we started
Like,
talking a
as soon
little
as you
bit.
said that, the whole table was like, wait a minute.
I feel like somebody got something to say. It might not be to what you said, but to help our audience.
It's all the same. We do the choosing.
Yes.
Men present,
Yes.
we choose.
Yes.
So ultimately, we decide if we're going to be a wife or not to that particular individual.
Koereyelle?
Absolutely.
Koereyelle?
Yes.
So I believe. Okay, so I agree to disagree. I do believe that women are in control of certain parts of the relationship. I think that for the most part, you're not going to have sex until the woman is ready to have sex, right? However, on the flip side, you're not getting married unless the man is ready to get married, unless you're going to drop down on the knee and choose that he's going to be your husband, which I am not for. Right? So my question would be, how are you choosing your husband? Because if that's the case, the moment I decided I wanted to marry him, we would have got married.
It's going to sound so arrogant.
He has to wait for you to choose.
Well, and not
But
even
he has to
just
choose to
that.
ask.
It
He has
starts,
to-
it starts
at a dating.
earlier than that because we choose
It's
from what you offer, right? So if there's a man who's not offering marriage and we know that we want that, then we could choose wisely or choose poorly. There are going to be, we could have married several men in our lifetime. There's something that stopped us from moving forward with that. And whatever posture or offer the man puts out there, I have to choose if that's the lane that I am willing to go down. Like, and I'm firm on that. Like, I refuse to stand around waiting to be chosen. I think we're both putting offers out there and we are co-picking each other. But when it all comes down to it, women, you should be doing the choosing. That's why most of us, from a woman's perspective, end up hurt and we're like, oh, these men just moved on so quickly. Well, we didn't choose right. There was always a sign. It's like we talked about red flags. I think you might have brought up red flag. We can't turn a red flag green. But what they offered was a red flag. And we chose it. We chose to accept that. We have to see the offer for what it is and decide if I want to enter that funnel and be closed.
There you
Even
go.
in
Exactly.
They do it in the animal
I can agree with that part of it, but can we not see the... So are you saying that the women who are choosing... I just think in a room full of women, the majority of the women would choose to be married, but they may still be unmarried.
Okay.
So then where is their choice in the matter?
And the choosing of who they're, like, even in the animal kingdom, the male animal's peacock. They show you what they have. And the female animal has to choose that particular animal. With that, we talked about the ego, the eagle, the woman female eagle. She flies up and she drops the branch to see which bird can come and catch it. That's how she's choosing based upon what you're peacocking her with. So the animal kingdom does this. It's not anything new. I even teach before Bridgerton came out. When that series came out on Netflix, my students like, oh my God, Miss April, you've been teaching us this. Back in the day, they would have these big balls and all of these eligible bachelors would come to these balls. to try and marry the king's daughter, niece, or whatever. What they would do, the men would stand outside and they would all finally come in and she would dance with all of them. She would keep a tassel with a little booklet and a pencil, keeping notes on each gentleman that she danced with. Because at that point, her family understood that she had to pick somebody that was appropriate for the family lineage. So this is not anything new. You go back into history, it's always been this way. Western culture has changed the dynamics, as well as women have lowered the standard to the point to where they're choosing anything because they just feel like because he liked me, and they don't know the difference between a high caliber man and a high earning man. So they're looking at his earnings, what he's peacocking them with everything he has, but they're not looking at character, integrity, spirituality. If his efforts patterns line up, they're not looking at those things. So when I say, when we say women choose, it's based upon what we're being peacocked with, because even in the animal kingdom, they peacock the other female animals.
Yeah. And we don't have to take it just because if a man chose me and decided, I mean, I'm in a situation that's significant, but we're talking if a man chose me as a single woman and says, I want you, I want to make you, I'm a woman who wants to be married ultimately. Right. I'm not married because I have chosen to move in a different direction than the men who were presenting the offer, right? The offer has been presented. I choose not to move forward with it. And I think one of the mindsets that we have to get out of is that we're sitting around waiting to be chosen. Somebody could present that offer as a woman who desires marriage, and I look at you and I say, I don't like how you peacock.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, and I would just kind of piggyback on that. So like I said, I've been married once, I've been engaged twice, probably had 2 other rings somewhere out there too. But that is a choice. Let me be clear. I chose to turn off that engagement, and I probably got another engagement in my email right now. No lie. But that is a choice. Getting the ring is not hard. There are men out there who are going to fall at your feet because you're beautiful, because you're smart, because your hair is pretty, because whatever. Men are going to want to be with you for whatever reason. Now, it's your decision if you want to choose them or not. I like the fact that you like me, but is it worth my energy to deal with you? Is it worth my time? What are you bringing to me to help me further myself, my success, or so on and so forth? But getting the ring is not hard. And I feel like so often a lot of, especially Black women, feel that is such a hard feat. Like, oh, I got to get married. I got to get engaged. Girl, that's the easy part. Getting engaged is the easy part. It's finding the right one. And that's not hard. It's not hard at all.
Well, I think the ring is not hard, but the relationship is what people don't want to work for.
Yep.
That part.
Yep.
That part.
I agree with that.
That
but
part.
I still chose
with me on that.
I ain't waiting around here to be chosen. Choose me.
Was that the
We heard
okay.
Oh, wait.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, she didn't even get to her question, y'all.
That wasn't the question.
She didn't even get to it.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's not trying to get chose?
Play International Players Anthem.
Yes,
by the
I
way,
love it.
Just to let you know. So, but I do appreciate the conversation because it segues into the actual question that I have, which is coming around to the mindset of becoming a queen and thinking as a queen, as opposed to like a goddess or a boss chick or anything like that. We have to think more. And then also as an entrepreneur, coming around to the idea that life and business is about chess, right? And so as a queen, we make decisions that are good for the kingdom, that are strategic, that may have something to do with love, may have something to do with marriage, may have something to do with building a family. In the moment, those decisions might not feel good, but April, you said that it doesn't have to be black and white. But in the moment, it kind of feels like you're sacrificing love for strategy or strategy for love. And it feels like a black and white decision. So my question was, in you guys' experience, what are some decisions that you made that were maybe strategic or better for the kingdom as opposed to choosing for a love or emotional? Like, what were some decisions that maybe seemed black and white but weren't? Or some decisions that were black and white?
So I'll talk on that one again. For a long time, I chose, my boyfriend or my spouse or whatever he wanted. So instead of me really pushing my career forward, if he said, no, babe, let me do this first, or let me take the role in this. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll sit back. I don't have to start this right now. I don't have to start this business right now. I don't have to do this. I fell into a trap of following whatever he said. And it took a really bad breakup for me to say, you know what, screw all this. Tahlia's focused on Tahlia and these kids, and that is it. And that was kind of that drive to have me create the business and where I'm at now. Because I promised if I would have listened to him 7 years ago, 7 years ago, if I would have listened to him, I wouldn't have had a TV show. I wouldn't have been a successful broker. I would have quit real estate. He told me to quit real estate. Like, he's like, baby, you don't need to do this no more. I don't think you're that great at it. And you probably don't need to do that right now. That was him. Yeah. Red, like waving like the Falcons games. It was a big flag like that. And even with doing that show, he wasn't even supportive in that. He wanted to kind of be on the scene too. But once, the cameras are gone and all the PR and all the press I'm supposed to get, he sabotage every possible thing I possibly could do. So if I wanted to go, to a speaking event or, whatever, walking into a club or whatever the case is, if I wanted to do anything, he sabotaged any of that. I didn't do anything after the fact. So with that breakup, I was like, I can't be on somebody else's coattails and, trying to please a man, especially if that's not my husband. And he wasn't my fiance either at the time. So definitely didn't make sense. But yeah.
Yeah, I had to learn how to trust myself.
Yeah.
I was in a high profile relationship and I was getting ready to get married. And I knew, that gut, you knew, but I was like, no, because it would be right. It looks good. Everything is, I get what I want and we do good business together and all that, right? Until one day we were going somewhere and he said, I need to stop by here. And we had to stop by a church. And as I'm looking at, he's went somewhere in the church and I'm looking at the pulpit, I heard God clearly say, can you do this? And I'm looking around, ain't nobody in there but me. And I didn't want to admit that I already knew I couldn't do that. So I would say the biggest mistake I made was not trusting myself and honoring April's desires. And although I do believe in the helpmate and support, I also believe in being your own individual as well. And so I had to learn how to trust me and say, do you really want this? Or does it just look good on paper? And so I vowed I would never do that again.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Good. Let's clap it up. So you guys enjoyed yourself, yes?
Yes.
Good. I just want to say thank you for you ladies for just coming. I literally called each and every one of them personally. And like 100%, it wasn't like, no, I had anyone else on the list. Like this was the group of people that I felt had a really, really good perspective and, different perspective on this topic and could help us all, right? So I want to say that this night, you guys helped me become a better husband.
No.
Well, I got some ideas. Let's see if it, you know what I mean? Let's see if it makes it home. You know what I mean? But this is just healthy to. I don't think women always get a platform, especially from a man. And I wanted to make sure this is the very first of the Social Proof 7 that we do, where we can give women a voice and give. Not that women don't have a voice, you guys are killing it on your own, but I just felt like it was an obligation to make sure that you see all these, you could tell who's putting on an event if it's a man or a woman by the people that are on the panel. Would you agree? Like these workshops, it's like all men driven, but I just know some boss women that have a really, really good perspective. So I want to close it out with kind of you all giving your last words and letting everybody know how they can find you. So we're going to start with Donnie. You know what I mean? You ready?
So, interestingly enough, My social media was just hacked again today.
For like the third time.
The third time in under 2 years. And yes, I had 2-factor authentication turned on, but it happened. So I don't really know where you can find me right now. Seriously, yeah, you guys can, I would rather that you send me a text. So can I see your phones? Like pull out your phone, pull out your phone.
Like she's serious.
I got you, Donnie. We're getting there. You go.
Thank you. 404.
Watch someone text.
737-2767. Just say, hey girl, or whatever you want to say. And you guys will be on my in my community so that I can keep up with you there because we have given up.
Can you run that one more time? One more time.
404-737-2767. In all seriousness, I drop business gems on a regular basis, and sometimes I just want to say hello. But I think ultimately, if I can leave with anything here today, especially for the women in the room, is to be empowered, not just feel empowered, but be empowered to be exactly who you are. As women, as humans, we are constantly evolving, and that's not anything that's ever going to change. I used to find myself competing with men. Like, I have to do it the way that the big boys do. And in some ways, I do still have to do that, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, the only person that I'm competing with is me, the person who I was yesterday. And then I also want to leave you with the fact that there is power in sisterhood. There's incredible power in sisterhood. So you look to the woman to your left and to your right across the table from you, and she is not your competition. She just might be the missing piece to your puzzle that can unlock a completely different realm of freedom for you and for each other. And I don't think we tap into that energy. We're always looking at another woman because there's so few of us who are actually gutsy enough to go out and pursue our dreams at an excellent level, right? There are people who are tiptoeing into it. There are women who are thinking about it. But high-level women who are going after high-level goals, I mean, even though we dominate in the space at a greater rate, there are less of us doing it. And so banding together and coming together on panels like this, lifting the woman to your left and right up is going to take you further than you could imagine. The more people that you help to achieve a thing, great woman, the more you're going to achieve the thing that you actually want to do. And you don't have to sacrifice yourself as a woman, as a mom, as a significant other, to be the person that you want to be in the world of business. You can absolutely have it all.
My closing words would be balance is okay. And as well as make your business around your lifestyle, not your lifestyle around your business, and just really identify what you want your life to look like because it's limitless. You know, whatever you desire is what it will be because you are the creator and your life, you know, is the canvas and you decide. I can be reached by downloading the All Things Feminine Social Club app in your Google Play or your Apple Store and always on social media at MS April Mason.
Yay.
My closing remarks would be unapologetically, authentically you. Don't show up as anyone else but yourself 100% of the time. Don't let nobody tell you what you can and cannot do. And understanding that we don't ever have to choose. We can have it all. I can be reached at on Instagram, Full Circle Consulting Group.
Angela.
So I'm gonna keep it short. But my closing statement, honestly, is your closing remarks. You can have it all. Every single thing, being a mother, being a boss, being a great friend, a great sister. And don't be afraid to collaborate, work with other people. It is okay. Because whatever sauce that you have, that's yours. They can't take that away from you. Just be open and be open to receiving that. And you guys can follow me on Instagram at Tahlia Diaz, Tahlia Diaz.
Clap it up for Tahlia.
So I would just remind you all that you already have everything you need to get everything you want if you are willing to work for it. So I'm Koereyelle. You can find me on social media at Koereyelle and at The Work University.
Go. Shea, you got to close us out strong, okay? It's on you.
You guys are in the right space. Look, you started right here with all the top-notch people to take you where you need to go. And just remember, it's not anybody else's race. It's your race at your pace. So put your blinders on. Don't be concerned with what everybody else is doing. Be concerned with you. And be coachable. That's the biggest thing. And you guys can find me at the number 2, Shea, S-H-E-A, number 2, Touch. So 2 Shea, 2 Touch.
So again, I want to say thank you all for coming out. You all can also text me. Take out your phones.
This is not your moment.
All right, don't take out your phone. It's cool.
Thank you.
Hey, but real quick. Okay, yes. I do need you all. If you are not like in your Apple or your Spotify device, if you're not subscribed or following the podcast, I really need you to take out your phone and just subscribe to the podcast, okay? And rate us if you get a chance, okay? It's the best way to support the podcast is just by subscribing, rating, and commenting, okay? So thank y'all so much for coming out. Please give a round of applause for all the ladies on the panel. DJ Joe, it's on you.
What if I told you for $1, I will introduce you to hundreds of entrepreneurs every single morning this week? From all across the country, you'll be able to talk to hundreds of entrepreneurs, and I'll coach you. I'll coach you for $1 this whole week, and I'll introduce you to some of my successful friends for $1 this week. Would you take part in that? Well, go to themorningmeetup.com because that's exactly what we're doing here, okay? The only organization that gathers entrepreneurs every single day for the betterment of entrepreneurship, okay? Every single day, Monday through Friday, we gather, we're growing, we're learning. We got a book club. Have you ever seen hundreds of entrepreneurs reading the same book? Every single chapter, every single day, we're growing together, okay? You need the environment to grow in. Themorningmeetup.com, $1. I'm gonna give you all of this for $1. If you wanna stay, great. It's $79 a month after that. If not, no obligation. You can leave whenever you want. All right? Themorningmeetup.com. I'll see you in the morning.